Start, yeah.
Hi, my name is Pierre and I'm going to tell you how to use a Tirfii tool. Maybe by now, if you're some future Shitslab postdoc, you think, oh, good, that's the guy who ended up under a bridge, or oh, that's that super cool professor, but we'll see. Okay, first thing we're going to do, you're going to turn everything, that's the camera, so we turn the camera on. These are the controls of the microscope, there's two of them, we also need to turn them on. And finally, that's the fluorescence lamp. You also need to turn it on. As you will see, that's the hours that the bulb has been on for. It says 600 something, right? This is way too much. The maximum is supposed to be about 200, and you will see that as the hours get higher, the light starts to flicker, and you don't have a constant light when you do experiments, which can be bad if you're doing things like videos. So the bulb needs to be changed, and that's something that actually should be changed now. We'll leave that for another time. Once everything's on, you go to the simple PCI program, which is right here on your desktop. Double click it, and this should open everything up. Okay, then we're going to click here, and that opens up the menu to take images. Okay, so of course now that's the point in which we would put the sample in. The sample goes here, in this space here. And in order to select the different objectives, what we're going to do is we're going to go here to this Olympus tab, click it, then this dialog comes up, which is just cancel, and then we have access to the motorized stage that controls the objective position. Now, the values for the objectives here don't really match the ones that are here. You just have to change them until you see the objective that you want be in the right position. But even if here it says 10x, that's not necessarily what comes up here. You have to check. Okay, so now let's say we have the right objective here. So then we would go back here. This is the sensors tab, is the one that we're going to need most. So then we would put the sample in. Remember, check whether your objective is an oil objective or an air objective. If it's an air objective, don't put oil in it. If it's an oil objective, do put oil in it. Never put more than a drop. Here's the oil. So the way to do it is you first leave a drop out somewhere else like that. You get rid of any possible dirt, and then you put one drop on your objective, and then you would put the sample on top. And now we don't really have a sample, so we're just gonna wipe it out. That's what you would do at the end. You wipe this with one of those Berkshire wipes, not a standard Kim wipe, which would damage the objective. Okay, so then let's say we have our sample in. What we do in order to focus it is, of course, move the focus up and down. That's where the focus is. And by switching this button here, we change the light from the eyepiece, which we're going to use to look through here, to the camera, which is there. Okay. So then, say that we've looked at the sample, we focused through here, and we have everything in there. What we're going to do then is switch the image to the camera, and then just select what we want to do. So here's the different channels we can take. So, say for example, all we want to do is take a normal DIC image. So then we just select one channel here, and then here we can select what we want to do. So DIC would be here, and then if we want to do fluorescence, we can choose between GFP, YFP, and Sci5 channels, and we can also choose the different Tirfii channels, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So let's say you just want to do DIC. Here we select the multiplication gain. That tells you how sensitive the camera is going to be. The maximum value you can put, I think, is 4,000, right? You don't want to really put anything above 3,500. The higher this value is, the more the more sensitive the camera will be to low signals, but also the noisier it's going to be. So if you can, just set this value as low as you can. I'm going to put 2000 as for an example. And here you set the exposure time, which we can set anything from 0.01 for bright DIC images to a few, almost to even 1 second for very dim fluorescence images. So this DIC selection here, we're going to do it no matter whether we're doing bright field images or real DIC images. You would just select that. And to actually change between a DIC and a bright field image, what you would do is change the settings here. So if you just want to do bright field, that is just transmitted light and nothing else, you want to have this selector out, so that would be in, you want it out. This one would be in like that, and then you want to get this one out. It's out already. So in would be like that, and you want to have it out. And here too, you have to look for an empty position for bright field to check what's in the condenser. You can open this thing here, and here you can see what's inside. So for bright field, we would select an empty position. If you see here, there's nothing. So for example, position 5. If you put position 5, then we're in an empty slot. And now it will be set up for bright field. Now, if we want to do DIC, then we have to put this thing in. These are the different prisms for DIC. I'm going to put this prism in. This prism also goes in. We want to open this out completely. This selector here. And then with this regulator here, we're gonna adjust the alignment of the different prisms, which will change the contrast that we get in the DIC image. So once we have the image in focus, we're gonna change this up and down to get the best image possible. Another important thing to do once this is in, we want to screw this in to fix that in position, because if we don't do it, then this may wiggle up and down, getting things out of focus. Depending on the objective that you're using for DIC, this lever has to be in or out. For the 60x, it has to be in. For most other objectives, it has to be out. But that is actually something that's written down in the objective. If you can see here, that's the. So in is for the BFP1 setting, out is for the normal setting, and if it's supposed to go with BFP1, it says so on the objective. We're going to put it back in. Okay. Alright, so now let's say that we had that set up for the IC and that we want to take a GFP image at the same time. So in order to do that, we would say instead of one channel, we say 2 channels. And then here we adjust the parameters on the other channel. So let's say we want a GFP image, so we put GFP, we select again a multiplication gain and an exposure. And now we have the 2 channels. Now, if we select live, we want to be able to see the image in here. And if we change between the tabs, we're going to be able to see the DIC channel, which in this case we'll label as blue, as you can see here, and the GFP image, which in this case we'll label as red. Of course, GFP as red is a little counterintuitive. That to change that, you just click here and select red, and that will be the red channel. Okay, now that's just to look at the live images. If you actually want to acquire an image, a video, instead of just saying live, you would do sequence. So you choose sequence here, then finish. You select where you want to have it. So just say we want it. We're just gonna put it in the desktop for now. I'm just gonna call it test file. You click save. So it turns out there already is a data file with that name, so we can append to it or just replace it. In this case, we're gonna replace it. And here in this setting we tell him if you put 0 delay, it's going to go as fast as it can taking images. But if we want to take an acquisition time that is a little slower, then we just click here and select the time. So let's say we want to take an image every 10 seconds, and we'll just click 10 seconds here.
It's called
What's that?
field delay.
That's called, yeah, it's called field delay. That's the name of the field here. And so if we here on acquisition control, we can tell it whether we want it to go until we stop it, or if we want it to stop after a certain number of frames, or at a particular time. We can say here we want it to stop at 1 minute, and then here you select whether you're going to save it to disk or to memory. Well, I don't know why it can't save it to memory. Oh. Yeah, if you enable the maximum speed here, you can save it to memory. That would make a saving faster, and you would be able to acquire faster rates. Okay, so if you now just say start, then it's going to acquire a DIC signal, a GFP signal. Wait 10 seconds and do the same again. DIC signal, GFP signal. And here, depending on the colors that you assign to the image, you can select them here. So remember, we call the GFP green. So if you say green mask, we're going to see the GFP image. I think the DIC we had under red. So if you click red mask, you can see the DIC image. If you select all, you can see them all at the same time. Whenever we want to stop this, we just click